Hey everyone, so today we're jumping into one of the most, let's say, notorious parts of the English language, phrasal verbs. They seem totally random, maybe even impossible to memorize, but what if I told you there's a secret system hiding in plain sight this whole time? Ready to crack the code? Let's get into it. Here's the plan for our little adventure. First, we'll look at what makes these verbs so weird and special. Then, we'll cover a couple of super common mistakes so you can avoid them. After that, we get to the really cool part, the secret system. And finally, we're going to bring in an expert, a cutting-edge AI, to see what it can tell us. Okay, first up, let's get a real handle on what makes phrasal verbs such a unique feature of English. Because they're way more than just a verb and a little word thrown together. This right here is the heart of the puzzle. When I say run up a hill, it's literal. You can picture it, no problem. But run up a bill? What does that even mean? You're not literally running anywhere. It means you're accumulating debt. The meaning just completely changes. And that is the magic and honestly the madness of phrasal verbs. You just can't guess the meaning by adding up the word. So let's just put the official definition up. This one's from the Cambridge Dictionary. It's basically a verb that teams up with a little sidekick, an adverb or a preposition, and together they create a totally new meaning. Like give up means to quit, not to literally give something in an upward direction. Now here's where it gets a little tricky, because not every verb plus particle combo is a true phrasal verb. Take turn on. The word on is basically glued to turn. They're a package deal, a single unit of meaning. But with look at, the preposition at is really just pointing you somewhere. The verb is look, and at just kicks off the next part of the sentence. And that tiny difference is everything. All right, let's make this practical. We're going to look at how this all plays out in the real world. Here are a couple of the most common mistakes people make, and trust me, the fixes are super quick. Oh man, you hear this one all the time, and it's such an easy trap to fall into, right? After a phrase like look forward to, your brain just wants to stick the simple verb in there, the infinitive, to see. But there's a little twist coming. And here it is. This is the fix. Certain phrasal verbs, they just need an ing verb to follow them. So you're looking forward to seeing someone, or you carry on talking. It's one of those patterns that once you get it, it just clicks. And here's the other big one. It's all about where you put the object. It feels kind of logical to put the object, in this case, them, right at the end of the sentence. But with phrasal verbs, there's a special little rule. This is the golden rule. You ready? If your object is a pronoun, like it, them, her, us, it has to be sandwiched right in the middle of the phrasal verb. You turn it on, you pick her up, you put them away. It's a super simple switch, but it makes you sound way more natural. Okay, now this is where things get really, really cool. For decades, language learners were just told, you gotta memorize them, there's no logic. But what if that's not true? What if there's a hidden system that cognitive linguists have actually figured out? The key, it turns out, is metaphor. This quote really gets to the heart of it. Basically, our brains are smart, but they're also kind of lazy. To understand a really abstract idea, like completing something, we connect it to a simple physical action we already get, like filling a cup all the way up. Let's just use the particle up as an example. So literally it means upward motion. You pick up a book. Simple. But our minds stretch that simple idea into metaphors. So more is up, which is why you brush up on your skills to increase them. Appearing out of nowhere is up. So when someone finally turns up, they become visible. Finishing something is up, which is why you fill up a gas tank. And reaching a limit, a boundary, is also up. And that's why you can be fed up. See how that works? All of a sudden, it's not random at all. It's this beautiful web of connected ideas.
So if this system works for our brains, that raises a really interesting question. Could it also help a machine understand language? Well, some researchers decided to find out by trying to teach a massive language model the difference between these two types of verbs.
So here's the gist of how they did it. They took a powerful AI called BERT, which has 12 layers of, let's call it, thinking. They fed it thousands and thousands of sentences. And then, at each of its 12 layers, they tested it to see if the AI had figured out the difference. It's kind of like taking an MRI of the AI's brain as it's learning to pinpoint the exact moment the understanding clicks into place. So what did they actually find inside this AI's mind? Well, the results were honestly pretty surprising. And they give us this fascinating little peek inside the black box of how these things actually work. Okay, Check out this graph. You see that big arc? That represents the AI's accuracy. It starts out, just okay, but then, boom, right in the middle layers 6 through 9, it shoots up to nearly 100% accuracy. This is wild. It means the AI's deepest, most useful understanding of this grammar isn't at the beginning or the end, but deep inside its own network. So, 99% accurate, that sounds like the AI has totally figured it out, right? It must just be sorting these verbs into two neat little piles. Case closed. Well, not so fast. Yeah, when the researchers looked even closer, it wasn't that simple at all. This second chart, it basically measures how messy or tangled up the AI's internal categories are. And it turns out they're really tangled. So even though the AI can correctly sort the verbs almost every single time, it doesn't see them as two clean, separate boxes. Its internal map is more like a tangled web than a neat filing cabinet. So what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, first, these AIs are doing way more than just memorizing patterns. They are building a really complex, sophisticated understanding of grammar, and that understanding is sharpest deep inside the network. And maybe the most mind-bending part of all is that an AI can be incredibly accurate without thinking in simple black and white categories. Its world is all shades of gray, and somehow that works. And that just leaves us with one final big question to chew on. We started this journey with the human brain and its clever use of metaphor. We ended with an artificial intelligence that developed a complex, tangled, but brilliant system to understand the very same thing. So if that's how a machine learns language, what does that suggest about the incredible, and maybe similarly messy, ways our own minds cracked the code first?